What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Actuali Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm DJ.
And we are continuing our special series, Meaning Making 101, as we try to make sense of the happenings in the world today and how we may actually help usher in an awakening from this time of meaning crisis. There is so much disinformation out there. You know how much the legacy corporate media likes to use that term. And, we see it happening a lot, unfortunately, on people that are, I guess we could call them far left, not living up to the tradition of liberalism that this country was founded under, but actually partaking in what we can call leftism. And then one finds themselves in danger of being taken in by ideologies such as Marxism, which utilizes an ideological subversive technique to create division in countries and turn them against themselves. This is, of course, the only way that another country or groups of countries could challenge and even overtake the U.S. is to get us to turn against one another, create that divide and conquer scenario that they are so hungry for. And we see this, of course, being instituted by communist dictatorships as well as by the WEF, World Economic Forum, which seems hell-bent on utilizing these dictatorships as their new strong arm rather than the U.S., which jeopardizes their plans for total corporate global dominance.
Yeah, real fascism, right?
The real true corporate fascism. So, we got some videos tonight. If you saw the thumbnail, you see that we are showing examples of people on the left which have accidentally, people use their hands to speak, have accidentally done the Hail Hitler salute that Elon Musk is now being condemned for using. Of course, we do not see that Elon Musk intentionally used that gesture on purpose by any means. And it's kind of funny to see leftists, people on the far left, and the corporate media spectrum trying to attack and make Elon Musk look like a fascist or someone that is showing fealty to Nazis.
Well, the thing is that salute in question is the Roman salute, and it's actually the way that the young boys and girls of America used to salute the flag until the Nazis decided that, hey, everything America does, we want to do because they're powerful. We're going to steal their magic, and so they started doing it, and then the flag code was changed to this instead of.
Oh wow, interesting little bit of history there.
Well, actually, if you listen to Nazi marching music, it's all knockoffs or direct takings of American marching music. So the Americans did it first. The Nazis corrupted it, just like with the swastika. The Buddhists and the pagan Germanics did it first, and then they took it and they did stuff with it. So, and frankly, I don't want to hear any complaining about those who didn't say anything about the power fist that everybody threw around, which is a direct communist symbol. Mm-hmm. And they didn't just accidentally throw the fist up. They actually put it in all their art, and they did. So
with the red and the black colors and everything, and it's the exact symbol that. Yeah, and why isn't that symbol condemned though the Nazi swastika is condemned?
Well, I actually made this point, years ago. I guess it was at the start of all this, BLM Antifa stuff, 2020 or 2019, leading into 2020, when I was still on Facebook, and I put it up there as as a question on Facebook, what would you rather see? Would you rather see swastikas and Nazi flags, or would you rather see communist flags being flown at, at your protests and stuff? Mm-hmm. And most people are like, well, I'm more okay with communist flags because of yada, 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 and whatever, which is basically they don't know. And then a friend of mine...
so even more dead than Nazi Germany was able to pull off is not an issue.
Yeah, so
to people.
But I had a friend, Scott the Jew. He's the Jew. He's a Jew, but not Jewish. There's a difference. He wrote on there, and it really stuck with me. It's I see what you're getting at, and I hold no umbrage. And he didn't say anything after that. And it was just I just let the feed go, and people argue, which was my whole point is, I don't want to see either of them at all. Yeah. And if you want to get down to it, the commies killed more than the Nazis did, though both are bad. And the same thing with the fascists, though both of them are completely off, absolutely horrific, and should never be then again, we just somehow accept commie stuff, and you know, it's like, come on, like that's hypocrisy right
And
there.
it proves out that the Marxist ideology is much more pernicious. It's much more effective at ideological subversion. It can be weaponized and tuned to different cultures, like the American cultural Marxism that we see being pushed on people today through the DEI initiatives and so forth.
Well,
it's all about the language of the oppressor versus the oppressed and so forth.
Yeah, to be honest, the roots of socialism, fascism, and National Socialism are socialism via Marx and Engels and a few other people. So it all came from the same place. They're not separate things. They're siblings, if you will. It's not a different family. They're all in the same family.
Yeah,
And
true.
it's hypocrisy. And I like to say that the Soviets won. They just didn't last long enough to realize that they did. Like their ideological subversion program went
The methodology is still being utilized. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, you know, it started in, you know, the 60s and 70s and continued on to the 80s, and now it's self-perpetuating within the system. Which, you know, I got to give it to the commie bastards. They were pretty smart with their methods and how they
clever.
implemented it.
Yeah.
Horrible though it is, and you know, I'm an American having to deal with modern whatever you want to call this now, because it's not communism, it's not fascism, it's not necessarily Marxism, it's not any of those.
It's a strange mix of Marxism and postmodernism, and
it's another bastard child. You know.
Yeah. So I found this week, actually this was just a day or two ago, podcaster, YouTuber Devery Darkins put together a great episode calling out the hypocrisy of the left-leaning media trying to put this, trying to claim that Musk was intentionally utilizing a Hail Hitler salute. And he broke it down really, really well. So we're going to actually check out a couple of clips.
And if he did a bad rendition of it, like he does a bad rendition of everything else, because he's just an awkward person. So
True.
you know.
So let's check this clip out, guys. Here we go.
Is what victory feels like. Yeah.
But a dork.
And this was no ordinary victory. This was a fork in the road of human civilization. True. Okay. This. You know, there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, you know, important. Some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you from my heart.
Well, he's going to say.
My heart goes out to you.
My heart goes out
to you.
It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
Now, that is the actual unedited clip of what he did and what the media is melting down over. They're accusing him of using a Nazi salute. And this went viral on social media immediately. And it kicked off with PBS putting it on social media, which got a lot of backlash. And I'm going to show you exactly what they said on X. But here's...
Yeah, and guys, check out this video. It's in the description of this. Check out Devery Dankins' video on this here for a little bit more information.
What they were saying in real time.
We're not going to show, obviously, his whole video.
And also seeing...
But I wanted to thank Devery for the great work he did here, because he really does a great job taking this whole thing apart.
It's yet another avenue that truth can come through, because we have misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, but then there's missed information as you missed it.
Yeah, right.
And the more people we can get talking about it, the harder it's going to be to miss the information.
Well, the malinformation is a term from our own government for information that isn't. It's not that it's untrue. It's just that it's bad for the
that's
citizens' perception of the government. So they call it bad information,
or just for any end, whether it's government or not. And that's kind of how I think they treat like climate information, and they misrepresent the information to create a malady within the consciousness of the citizen, which is like, oh no, like all this stuff is happening because you dirty humans are
right.
You know,
that's misinformation.
Well,
in a nutshell.
but it's also
the malinformation they came up with as a term themselves to be able to discredit people.
Well, they came up with it because they use it. It's all projection and projection and then reflection.
So we just saw the full actual clip of what Musk said. He is saying thank you from the heart Now let's look at how CNN actually reported on this.
Now, here's CNN, who was there in the room, and here's how they reacted to it. I'm sure you won't be surprised.
I just want to look at that salute that he gave again, just if anybody missed it, we'll just show it again. He's just wrapped up here. You can hear the...
They say he's just wrapped up here. They're pretending that he's done talking. So they're trying to say that this happened at the very end of his speech or something. They're totally misframing this.
There.
But look at those threatening people.
All right, so we just showed that. We just showed that.
Oh.
Right. It's worth
Salute.
It was quick.
Dude, they don't even know what to do with it.
And they can take a look at that.
The way they
but
cut
it
it?
certainly was. It's not something that you typically see at American political rallies. Put it that
Well,
way.
No,
okay.
it was not something that you usually would
Okay,
see.
Becky, whatever.
And it was quick, as you point out. It was very quick, but it was in a moment.
Oh,
of
but they can't show it
intensity for
again.
him as
Notice
he
they're
came
showing
out
the building.
dancing, And then he did that.
Yeah, because
No,
if they
which I'll
showed
show
it
you.
again,
Yeah,
they're
and
getting...
they keep saying, oh, but it was really quick, but this is what it shows. They're literally trying to frame reality for you instead of letting you make your own determination. They also do this appeal to ego in the beginning where all of our viewers are smart people, so you guys see what this is.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, you guys are smart until you question us, and then you're like one of the deplorables, and yeah, maybe you shouldn't watch because you're not cool enough to be one of us. Ugh.
Yeah, you're not smart.
But notice, like, the way they responded, though, is like they were given this clip with no audio or nothing that was just quick and him making the thing, and both of them looked like baffled, like, seriously?
Oh, yeah, we're doing this. Yeah.
You're going to do this again? Like, because, like, everybody that, well, okay, I
This
won't
is
say
how-
everybody, but most people who work at CNN, most people that work at MSNBC that do the, the normal low level up to just whatever broadcaster people, they know what's going on and they know why their ratings
and they
suck.
got to be aware
like,
of the
"Really?"
blowback at this point, right?
Really?
Yeah, the ratings suck. They just lost, the
my
Democrats
God.
just lost an election due to this. I mean, Trump had a huge increase in the number of young voters, young people seeing through the lies, the good people on both sides, rhetoric that was, reporting from the media that was used to frame Trump as a racist previously. People found out that was complete BS. It's just how they cut and clip
Now,
things.
he said good people on both sides, but then he went to say, and I'm not talking about the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. They should be condemned totally. So it's
and
like...
we did an episode on this as well. So now the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, comes out and actually defends Musk on X.
Which is weird because they're usually the Defamation League nowadays.
Yeah, and just to highlight the hypocrisy of all of this, left-leaning corporate media channels and leftists across social media are trying to call Trump and Elon Musk by association racists or Nazi sympathizers or Nazis in general. Meanwhile, where did all this anti-Semitism come from in the last recent years?
It's been from the left. And even
the college campus events where students and professors weren't even allowed inside, or people were being closed off and trapped inside parts of buildings.
So to actually make it clear what we mean
Teachers
by...
couldn't go teach classes. There's real, actual anti-Semitism going on because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
And while we're saying it's from the left, I want to be clear what we mean here by left. Let's be granular about it, because the last episode before was talking about this issue with the left and right. We're talking about the progressive revolutionaries,
the far left,
That's
radical
the left.
extremists.
Well, going towards left is revolutionary. Going towards right is trying to keep down what we already have. That's how it was in the French Revolution, and that's kind of how it is now too. And I guess the mistake here is, thinking it's like, well, okay, anti-Semitism is only a right-wing function. It's like, well, no, usually anti-Semitism is a revolutionary function. And in some cultures, to get rid of the Jews, that's our revolution. So I would, even like the skinhead kids, I still consider them pretty far left. I don't consider them right because they're not trying to maintain a tradition, even though they may say, "Oh, we want the tradition of the white race, and all this stuff."
What was the name of Hitler's party again?
The National Socialist German Workers' Party.
There you go.
I may have gotten that slightly wrong, but that's pretty much what it is. National Socialist German Workers' Party. Yeah, I don't know the German for you. I'm sorry, I barely speak English.
We are an upside-down world, fam.
Upside down, left is right, and right is left. Oh no!
Yeah. So let's check this out, where the ADL actually defends Elon Musk.
Now, here's the other thing that I find to be interesting. The ADL on X came out and actually defended Elon Musk. And here's their post on X immediately after this entire story went viral. This is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems like Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm,
exactly.
not
He's
a
an awkward
Nazi
fella.
salute. But again, we appreciate that people are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of the doubt, and take a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity in the months and years ahead.
They're saying this because they're well aware of all the anti-Semitism that just happened very recently over the Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
Yeah, well, it's
And that was coming from leftists, not saying liberals, but leftists,
and
radical,
yeah, well,
revolutionary left.
left isn't exclusive to liberals. Let's just put it that way. But
Right.
you know, more of, and you know, this guy Devery Darkins, he sees it, we sees it,
Yeah.
you sees it. There's a whole bunch of other people that see it, and now what I've noticed though is like, you know, you're seeing more of the Trump paraphernalia, but you're also seeing people express their opinions of like the way we've been going for the past 4 years is not great. And now we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with expressing our grievances and our observations. Now, mind you, with that comes though, we got to be more adamant about like when somebody like, it's like, oh, now I'm comfortable, I'm going to say some really racist or like heinous stuff and be like, no, bruh. You ain't part of us. You ain't part of the normal thing that's going on and trying to hold it down if you're doing that. Which I can see in some end, you know, like James Lindsay got in a bunch of crap because of the whole woke right thing. But it's like, well, if you don't believe in a woke right, let's work real hard not to allow a woke right. So it starts now. So if we start seeing behaviors and tendencies that are reminiscent of the Marxist tendency or the oppressors tendency or the, well, we're the awakened few and we know because we have special knowledge that you guys don't know. So we need to nip it in the bud. So still pay attention. Be comfortable with saying what you want to say, but pay attention.
And let's be wary of our certainty too. Let's be willing to question our own beliefs and ideas. You know, we're all so certain, and when we become too certain, it can become quite dangerous. So yeah, we saw that.
Oh well, hey there, Ninja Bat. We see you in text.
Hey, what's up, Ninja Bat? See you, brother. Yeah, I wonder how Musk will balance his federal contracts with Doge. Be interesting to see.
Well, if anything, it'd probably help Elon Musk out because he is trying to be as efficient as possible, and that's the biggest gripe from people who have a gripe with him is like he's too hard to work for. Because he's like, if you can't do it and you can't do it at, you know, like this pace, then I get the hell out of here, which has gotten him into some trouble. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't, but we'll see.
Let's see.
We'll see.
You know.
Yep.
So yeah, there's one more good clip actually from the Devery Darkins video here where, see, yeah, Wikipedia, an arm of legacy media. Let's check that one out here. So 658. Let me get up there real quick. Here we go. Let's go.
Wikipedia has already updated Elon Musk's page with this statement. In his speech during the second Trump inauguration, Musk twice extended his right arm towards the crowd in an upward angle. The gesture was compared to a Nazi salute or fascist salute. Musk denied any meaning behind this gesture. We already know that Wikipedia is an extension of the legacy media, which we agree. And then Elon Musk responded to that by saying this: since legacy media propaganda is considered a valid source by Wikipedia, it naturally simply becomes an extension of legacy media propaganda. And I totally second that. Now let's listen.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with that as well. Yeah, but actually I do have one more clip from him where he shows our new UN ambassador responding to grilling in Congress. Let's jump ahead to that guy now.
Yeah, and thank you for those people who take the time to pull these clips together and do all that because it's not easy. You got to buy, you got to buy like subscriptions to stuff, and then you got to get like past this, that, or the other, and then it's a mess. So
truly,
yeah. So let's all be news aggregators together.
Amen. I like that.
And
idea.
feel free to steal our stuff too,
please. We're all figuring this out together. It's going to take a lot of minds. Let's do this. And hopefully we're fast forwarding the process for you guys as well. And if you like what you're seeing here, make sure that you smash the like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm feed us to more people. More people get to become aware of this. And make sure that you like and subscribe to Devery Darkins as well. All right, check this out.
That visual. Does it concern you that those elements of the neo-Nazi and white supremacist element in the United States believe that what they saw last night was a neo-Nazi salute?
What concerns me is these are the questions you believe are most important to ask to the UN ambassador. I have a very strong record when it comes to combating anti-Semitism. We just had a historic election where President Trump earned historic support from American voters because of his strong leadership combating anti-Semitism, which has been a scourge across the country, skyrocketing since October 7th. So I intend to bring moral clarity to this position and continue to speak out as a voice, as a beacon of light, condemning anti-Semitism at the United Nations.
There we go. There we go. So, well put. Very well put. So yeah, that's kind of the funny situation we find ourselves in here.
Well, and actually, so I want to make a correction on her end. I would say it comes even before the attack on all the neighborhoods in Israel that happened. It was happening before, because like, so there are protected classes and oppressor classes, and no matter which way you cut it, the Jews have always been an oppressor class, even though their story is actually those that should be identifying with the oppressed class. So right wing, left wing, they've got the negative end of the stick. It wasn't apparent until we started seeing like BLM putting up the little paraglider guys and other people, the other, well, we'll just say like white liberal kids and multicolored liberal kids. Yeah, it's saying like globalize the Antifada and like stuff like that, because they don't know what Antifada is. Yeah, and they're like, well, it's a genocide, and they don't even know how to identify genocide, and they don't know actually what's going on there, and they don't know what was happening in Palestine leading up to all of that, including like, hey, Hamas was like literally cutting the water pipes out of the ground, starving their people that voted for them of water so they could create missiles to send to Israel. And I don't know if we'll get into this in the show in the future, but like Hamas public broadcasting, or whatever you want to call it, their children's shows that are teaching them how and why to stab the Jews and do stuff like that. It's some pretty heinous stuff. Now, mind you, war is war. A lot of civilians died. It's pretty nasty and pretty bad. But I ain't gonna put that on the Jews. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I ain't gonna put that on anybody really, except for Hamas. Hamas screwed everybody in that position. And if you disagree with me, hit me up in the comments. Let's talk about it. But yeah, and now we have like, what college or what university was that where actually it was multiple universities, but not allowing Jews on campus, or like chasing them down, or there was something recently that happened. I think it was a TPUSA event. Oh yeah, that just happened. Yep. That just happened, and it's just like, dude, like, yeah, I get it. It's not on the news, but how didn't you hear about that?
Well, people excuse these actions because they truly believe that Trump is a fascist. He's going to be a dictator. This is the beginning of a new Nazi Reich in America now, and that it's by basically any means necessary, you are justified to try and stop this. And that's the mentality a lot of people.
If Trump really is a Nazi, the left should love him, because like their policies are very fascistic and national socialistic. So like, what's their problem? If he's actually the Nazi they think he is, they should love him.
But there's a lot of doublethink coming on, going on too.
I know, I was being sarcastic or facetious or whatever you want to call it, but for real though.
That's why that's happening though. It's because people are believing too, opposing ideas at the same time.
You mean the Republican Party, which has been in bed with Israel for a long time and is like down with the Jews, is the Nazi Party? Come on now. Really?
That's where we're at. It's
really?
partially why Trump won this election, because he had so many Jewish votes. Because of what was happening, on the left in regards to the Palestinian and Israeli conflict. So, yeah. So here, let's check out X. Let's look at some examples of when people on the left have accidentally done a Nazi salute.
Oh, look at that. That's AOC, our savior queen.
Yeah, there she is.
Oh, no, Nazis. You can just go ahead and play it. She does the full motion. Yeah, bring that back to Bring that back. Oh no. And she didn't just do it once. She did it again.
Oh my gosh, she did it twice in a row.
Oh my goodness. Like double Evanson.
Look at this. There's Hillary. There's Obama. There's Elizabeth Warren. There's Kamala Harris. Oh my gosh, look at this one.
Oh, and she looks excited about
Hillary
it.
doing it. Yeah.
No, that's three.
Making her
three
crazy
different
face.
instances.
Yeah,
Oh man.
Yeah. So whoops, I just lost that.
Oh no, try the all new Grok. Thank you. No, no, thank you.
Grok is pretty awesome. No, I'll give it that. Okay, here we go. Come over here. So Bernie Sanders put out a little video talking about how, oh my gosh, Trump has the 3 most wealthy people in America behind him. He's talking about people that previously funded the Democrats and voted for Democrats, like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Oh boy. So it's so funny. So here, let's look at the Trump v. Harris major corporate donor contributions in 2024 election. We can see that a lot more money from major corporations went towards
from Google at the top, and then American Airlines. So for Trump, we have
83 billionaires donated to Kamala versus 52 for Trump.
For people who are just listening, right now we have on the Trump side the top number, $134 million. 1,000. Yeah, that's right, 1,000
from American Airlines,
and then you've got.
And then 82,000 from Boeing, 69 from Lockheed, 67 from United Airlines, Wells Fargo, 59. Now you look over at Harris's side, 1,464,000. So that's 1,300,000 more than Trump's highest donor. So that's 1,464,000 from Google, 743,000 from Microsoft, and it goes down from there.
Okay, so what I find crazy about this though is if you look at the Trump line and look at the Kamala line, notice how Kamala's figures look smaller by the blue bars, but you have to go down to Morgan Stanley, which is the sixth, that equals the biggest donor, which is American Airlines for Trump. So, and I'm sorry for people who aren't watching this, but if you're looking at this is how they rig your mind, because it looks like the bars on the left-hand side, they look so big. Really, the bars look like that because the donations are closer in value. Whereas Kamala Harris, hers, it's 1.46 million, and then 743,000, and then 229,000, and 229,000, then 169,000, then 137,000, and that's where the top donor, right underneath that 136,000, is Trump's. So, and this is how they manipulate you.
She had substantially more donations than Trump. He had substantially less and still won this election.
Well, the Democrat Party is the party of big money now, unfortunately.
The billionaires own the Democratic Party.
Yeah, grumpy Muppet. Is that Tim?
Bernie has no problems with billionaires when they donate to Democrats. All 3 of these are former Democrats, by the way, Bernie.
Which billionaires are they talking about? Hold on, let's figure out what those billionaires. For the election, Kamala had, okay.
Secured backing from 83 billionaires, Trump only 52. The list included tech moguls like Reid Hoffman, Michael Bloomberg, Steve Ballmer, who favor Kamala.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The real party of the people is clearly the Republican Party.
Bloomberg reporting is supposed to be very nonpartisan and very accurate.
Oh, there's Bill Gates here.
Oh my goodness.
Norman Powell Jobs, Mark Cuban. So there we go. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh yeah, you remember what happened to Sam Bankman-Fried? Text in the chat if you remember the whole issue with Sam Bankman-Fried and his girlfriend who laundered a whole bunch of money for the Democratic Party, by the way.
Yeah.
And he didn't kill himself if he's not still alive. Just saying.
So funny that 70% of the billionaires were supporting Kamala, and Bernie didn't feel that way then. So, yeah. So we see a lot of opportunism out there. People are framing things a certain way because they think it's still going to work, which is crazy. Like you would think the new hypocrisy that we're seeing here is, of course, the same old hypocrisy we've seen in the last, decade plus from the Democratic Party at this point. The Democratic Party is so wholly controlled by financial interests. It's the ultimate hypocrisy to be trying to call the other side fascists. We know both these parties were controlled by corporate interests, and that Trump broke through as an outsider. The Republican establishment did not want Trump in when he first ran. They did everything they could to keep him out. They wanted Jeb Bush.
Well, and even after he was
Trump hated Fox for a while because they were.
Well, the entire
against him.
media apparatus, and this includes you too, Fox, went after him. But then also, like, almost every single Republican went after him too, except for a handful of actual, like, I don't want to say real Republicans, but those who earned the title Grand Old Party. Because let's not kid ourselves. The Democratic Party has always been the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of controlling its adherents, or what would you call them, constituents, with fear and terror. Look at the Democrat cities, how they're doing now. How they've been doing since the 60s. They ain't doing great. And this is coming from an anarchist that is just forced to participate in this because you need to.
Yeah.
Look,
and two guys that are both have a lot of liberal tendencies and celebrate liberalism.
I'm definitely a liberal.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm registered as a Republican is the Democrats failed so freaking hard, and also I live in West Virginia, so if I want to make sure the primaries happen the way I want to, I got to participate on the Republican.
And we're not about the red versus blue game here either. We are really about the people versus the establishment, the corrupt, the oligarchy that Bernie Sanders is complaining about. It has run both sides of this government for as long as we've been alive.
Yeah, almost all of your Democrats are crap. Almost all of your Republicans are crap. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And it's so sad to see how RFK and Tulsi Gabbard got totally misrepresented in the media when they tried to run for president in the Democratic Party. They were attacked with lawfare the same way that Trump was.
Well, Tulsi Gabbard might have been spied on, and she was put on a no-fly list, and she was deemed a threat to the public, which is like...
It's crazy because she's someone that's been on 3 tours on behalf of the U.S. people.
Yeah.
She is somebody that has been a part of Congress for a long time. She used to be a part of I think she was the chair of the DNC initially because they were grooming her and they thought that they were going to be able to keep her in check and under control. But as soon as she started to call out the military-industrial complex, they came at her hard. And what is the military-industrial complex? But war profiteers. It's the business of war.
Boeing, Raytheon.
They've owned our government at least since Dwight D. Eisenhower warned us about them in his farewell speech after his presidency.
And at this point, it's not just the companies that make the weapons of war, but it's the bureaucrats that get money from all these companies. And even you could put, now in the military-industrial complex, you could put Meta, Google, a few other banking softwares. You could probably put that in there too, because if they want to wage war against you, they just shut off your banking or they shut off your communication, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
And if only it was just our direct representatives that were hijacked by this, but it's the bureaucrats in between that we don't know who they are. And that's one thing that's like I'm down with what Trump's doing. Break their toys, fire the bureaucrats, get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And I hate to be that way, but yeah, get rid of them. They're less than useless. They're actually harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
running So let's look at Trump's inauguration speech.
I shed a tear during that. I was watching it with my dad, and there was some points where I cringed, and I was like, "Oh, I have some friends who are not going to like that." But I was like, "Good, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, no, this is what we need to hear." Even the far ends that he went to is still good, yes, fine. Bring us back to this normal center instead of spending so much time around the margins that we've dissolved into this incoherent mush.
Really. Yeah, in the very beginning, I don't know if I have a clip of this part, but it was on Martin Luther King Day, and he praises Martin Luther King and how he wants to achieve Martin's dream. Not the kind of speech that you would expect to hear from somebody that is supposed to be grooming his nation for a new Nazi Reich.
Yeah, exactly.
You would think
right.
that he'd be, talking against certain races, but he's not. He's very grateful for all of the Black people and Latino people and everyone that voted for him. And he is going to be releasing all of the government files, classified documents pertaining to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., as well as JFK and his brother, Robbie Kennedy.
Yeah, watch. I guarantee you those things, like a lot of the executive orders he did with like the freeing the January Sixers and, stopping the DEI stuff and firing the DEI officials, all that stuff is going to get less pushback than the releasing of the Dr. King, JFK, and other files. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
And hey, Kash Patel, you get into that FBI and you tear him a new butthole. You get all the poopy out.
Please.
I wanted to cuss, but
Please,
you get all the
Kash.
sugar honey iced tea out. Yeah.
Sugar honey.
Yeah. That's what the cool kids are saying instead of cursing. Sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's check this out. Here we go. This is Trump at the inauguration talking about Doge and free speech.
Day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
I disagree
For
with creed,
American
but
citizens,
it's another story.
January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
Yep, Liberation Day, January 2025.
Yeah, let's hear what he said again.
And creed.
One more time. I like this.
Race,
Yeah, go back a little further. Yeah.
prosperity. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th,
Doesn't sound like a very racist person.
No, and actually, I think for my liberal taste, he's being a little too liberal with the creed because it's the American creed that we need to, okay, doesn't matter where you came from or creed you had from where you came from, but when you come to America, it's the American creed, not some other stuff that you're going to try to force in, because there are certain things that are incompatible with the American credo.
Fair.
Right? But I get what he's saying, though. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you come from, what your religion you are,
is. Yeah,
what
exactly.
you were believing then. But you come to America, we're doing the American dream. We're doing it over here. Do you want to be a part of that? We're going to go ahead and do it here.
Dig it.
And if you don't want to do it here and you're going to be antithetical to us, get out. That's
I like
kind
this
of
little
where
bit too here.
everybody's at.
He talks about coming together and let's end the chronic disease epidemic. Save our children.
Maha.
New Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge. To the moon.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
This is big.
This is big, and that's
YouTube
again,
hit
that's
us
not,
with one of those.
Yes, they sure did. We got a nice little warning that we had to wait 90 days to go away.
How dare you?
If we got
show
another
Tucker
warning, we
Carlson.
would have gotten our first strike on the channel. You can never get rid of your strikes, and once you have 3, you are permanently banned and kicked off
for election
YouTube.
disinformation and misinformation, because you were trying to show Tucker Carlson interviewing RFK Jr.
Yeah, you can still see that episode on Spotify, but it is no longer on YouTube. They took it down.
What about but as soon as I heard him say that, I thought about this. I'm like, okay, well, is there any legal ramifications for YouTube if they decide to take us down because we had an opinion on something?
Yep.
For real though, how deep is this going to go? And I haven't gone through all the executive orders, but
he's drawn a clear line in the sand, and he's calling out the censorship of speech. Now, free speech is absolutely necessary. It is the most important safeguard we have in our country. If you can't have free speech, which is the last resort to violence, then you are lost. We don't have a functioning democratic republic. So it's certainly quite the opposite of a fascist undertaking to protect free speech.
Yeah, well, yeah, and actually what the Democrats have been doing for the past 4 years, which is the lucrative merger between the state and private entities, as in big tech and all that stuff, yeah, they've been the fascists as well. They're the ones saying, oh, if you disagree with us, you can't speak. And we'll also make it to the point where it's not just you can't speak, but we're going to make it so unpalatable for you to speak that nobody's going to speak.
Yeah.
Like even like people that I really respect online and like on the YouTubes and the other stuff have had to not use certain words and not cover things or not show you certain things that's really important to show you or blurt out to the point where you don't even know it's happening.
Yep.
Yet the news can show you a dude's brain blasted all over the road on TV, and that's fine. But you can't, actually show what the person looks like who's like mugging like all those ladies on the street. You know,
we have
like,
slang terms for everything now because there's certain words that you are now not allowed to say. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, boy.
1984.
Well, let's see Trump. Let's let
this continue here. Yeah, because he's going to continue on. Why wouldn't you stand and clap for free speech? Why wouldn't you?
Either you're a kid like that kid that's goofing off in the bottom right corner, or you're
Joe
crippled, or you're crippled,
or you're Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents.
Yeah. Yes. Say that again. Let's hear that one more time, Thane.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the Constitution.
Truly fair, equal, and impartial, hopefully. And let's hold them to it.
Good.
And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities.
Yep. Well, you're going to have to negotiate with the Democrats on that one.
I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Yeah, remove the critical theories. That's the commie bullshit that we're talking about.
That is used to divide, confuse.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Yep. Colorblind and merit-based. What does that mean? That means that if you do a good job, then you earn your position at that company.
Well, that's what...
You're not going to be hired according to your race, your gender. You're going to be hired according to your merit.
And that's what Dr. King was talking about. Like, if you listen to his old speech, he'd be rolling in his grave right now with what we've done with his idea of, like, he was talking about, like, I dream of the day where, my kids and my kids' kids and my kids' kids' kids from Mississippi all the way up to the north and everywhere in between can get together and not have to think about each other's race. And we only care about the merit of the other individual.
Yes, let's not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. So the person that works the hardest, that has done the schooling, has trained themselves, become an expert in whatever particular field, that person has the best chance of getting the job. Not, I would like for hiring standards to be this way. It's almost like you don't even get to see the color or the sex or the religion of the person while you're looking at their resume. You're just looking at their actual capacities to perform the job and hiring off of that basis.
Actually, I'd even go as far as to not requiring a name for the person who's making the decision for it. Like, there will be a name, but it's covered by like a number or an identifier. So it's like, no, it's just whoever's got the highest score, whoever's most capable, and whoever has the best looking resume. Period. And you know what? If that comes up with a whole bunch of black and brown people over the white people, fine.
Great.
But I guarantee you it's probably going to be around 60% white people and around 13% black people and around like actually more Asian people, because it's
but
a
you mean
cultural
due
thing.
to the actual
population breakdowns. And it actually might be less than like 15% for black people, because the majority, I won't say the majority, but a significant plurality of black people live in inner cities that are run by Democrats that have terrible school systems.
Yes, and are creating dependence rather than self-realizing.
Oh, dude,
agents.
The old, the old Democratic Party, the Jim Crow Democratic Party wouldn't be rolling in their graves. They'd be dancing. They're like, oh, look. Oh, yeah, we made them look stupid. Yeah. We kept lowering the standard and lowering it until they're like, well, fuck a standard. We're not going to do nothing. The Democratic Party got their way, and they're barely alive to see their victory, but they don't like their victory because they lost power.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you just keep crapping on people.
They're willing to lie and cheat to gain that power.
Get your crap together, Democrats. We need strong Democrats. We need strong Republicans. We need strong libertarians. We need strong anarchists. We need strong, good, smart people.
We need real liberals back in the Democratic Party, not these corporate stooges. Yeah. All right, so continuing on.
Don't be a stooge, please.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
I could hear some screaming on this one. But it's true. There are only 2 sexes or generating forces, male and female. Everything else is an aberration from it.
And this isn't...
It doesn't mean we don't love you.
No, it doesn't mean that...
It's fine, but it's not accurate. It's not biologically accurate. Say dudes can be girls and girls can be dudes.
Right. Even truly gender dysmorphic people identify as
and also,
the opposite,
if it wasn't
the opposite gender.
And if it wasn't from all this nonsense, like these nonsensical people cutting into children and sterilizing with chemicals and grooming them into these behaviors,
and teaching people,
we probably wouldn't have a problem with
that
it.
Gender is just a complete spectrum and that you can be fluid. Well, you took away the greatest argument that gay people ever had, which was saying that we were born this way. You can't tell us that we can't get married or this or that.
Well, actually,
because
we
we're
can
actually
give you
born
a surgery to change you. So
that's the new thing that they tell kids instead of letting them just be gay or bi.
Save the tomboy, save the sissy boy. Instead of transing them, let the little sissy boy be a sissy boy and grow up to be a gay man, and let the tomboy be a tomboy and then grow up to be a catfish noodling, tractor driving, awesome badass chick. You know, don't tell them that they're supposed to be, no.
And let's say effeminate rather than sissy, because people take that as derogatory too. But
okay,
you know what we're saying.
But it's fine. It's fine. Like they should be fine with being like, I'm a little sissy boy. It's fine. Instead of calling them a bottom.
Oof.
Oh God. Yeah. Don't get me into started with all that lingo. Ugh.
Really. So continuing on.
This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate
with pay.
Full back pay.
Yep.
Full back pay. That's awesome, dude.
It saved a bunch of people's asses, too.
Yeah. That's huge.
And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately.
I like what Mark Milley was all down with.
Yeah, military is supposed to be bipartisan.
Our armed forces will be free to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
That's what the military's for. Other than the Coast Guard, which is rescuing people, but...
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win,
Biden's face,
but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
I like that last bit.
Yeah,
most importantly, the wars we never get into. That's what he accomplished last.
That's the big stick.
Term.
You don't have to use the big stick if you can speak soft enough and let them know you have the big stick. Instead of just mouthing off and having to use your medium-sized stick all over the place.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
That's really
I'm
interesting.
pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
Now that's huge as well, yeah.
And that's not just him saying that, like I've heard the media say, oh, he's just saying that, but it's like actually a lot of other places, as well as representatives of other countries have admitted that's actually what it is. And it's kind of like the stock market. People like to think, oh, it's just fat cats making agreements, but it's actually, no, it's people betting on the future.
Yeah.
And knowing that Trump's coming in, madman that he be, they have to play ball, and they might as well start playing ball as quickly as possible, because if they don't start playing ball as quickly as possible, they're going to be, I don't want to say behind the ball. Well, okay, let's say behind the ball and getting the foot instead of being in front of the ball and knowing where it's going. The crazy man is a good incentive. And I think Trump very effectively does that.
Yep.
Even though I don't think he's as crazy as he makes it seem.
You need someone that scares the bullies.
Sure.
Someone that can actually scare the bullies.
I don't know if you saw the
and he is unpredictable.
Yeah. So there was a I guess a press release or whatever you want to call it from Putin, basically calling like, yeah, we want peace. And we
congratulating Trump on his win and saying that Russia is ready to talk peace.
And I'm not saying necessarily bending the knee, but
before Trump was even in office, he was being congratulated by Netanyahu for creating, for getting the hostages, for finally creating a deal, a peace deal between Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, and actually, so
there's a ceasefire right now. The hostages are finally coming home after how long? Well, since October 7th?
One thing in that release that Putin said that really stuck out to me that was really important is like, I feel like I can talk to this presidency, whereas the last presidency stopped talking to us. And the thing is the precursor to war is ceasing of communications.
Yeah.
And so what the Biden administration has actually done is ceasing communications with Russia. And even actually our media establishment did this as well, where they didn't want to send people over to interview and do stuff like that. And, what's his name? Went over there and looked at their subway and was like, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson went over there. And they're crapping on Tucker Carlson. And mind you, his interview was a bit cringe, and that was a bit cringe. I get it. But there should have been way more American outlets going over there to talk to Russian politicians and maybe even Putin. But no, it was like America for 4 years decided to shut down. We're not talking to you. Well, when your partner doesn't talk to you, it's like, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, we don't deal with dictators. You actually have to keep the lines of dialogue open. Because,
if you don't want war, you got to talk.
Yeah, there's this peacemaking process that you're supposed to go through, and you do everything you can.
That's what diplomats are for.
Yes, diplomacy. You exhaust every option that you possibly can to try and stop the horror of war.
Yeah.
You do whatever you can. And there is always a deal to be made.
Yeah. And when that's what really stuck out with me with that statement. It was just like, yeah, they weren't talking. And actually,
we're not even doing a good job of appealing to the Russian people themselves.
Well, yeah, if you want to get subversive with it, I'll go ahead and play that game. It's like, yeah, we should actually be putting out the best propaganda to the Russian people, being like, look how good America is. Like, you need to get on your government to be more like us.
Yeah, trying to get the truth out to those people when it's being cut off from them, as happens in China as well.
Yeah.
So, this is the world we find ourselves in. So that was Trump on Doge and free speech. Now we're going to look at him talking about ending the chronic disease epidemic and encouraging Americans to come together.
Come together.
Man, I really like that he actually wants to be a peacemaker and a unifier. That's what he wants to be known as. If he means that, and let's hold him to it. If he means that, that's a good thing.
Well, whether he wants to or wants to be known as, I'll take both or
really,
either.
Really.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine with me as well. All right, so here we go, guys. Jumping in. Come together right now.
That's actually not a bad relationship. That song.
That's kind of what we're going through in America.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons.
He means Mars.
And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
On Mars.
Awesome. So, ending the chronic disease epidemic and saving our children from illness, from the crap in the foods that we're eating and so forth. I don't see any corporate legacy media talking about that, complaining. They don't even want to mention that. They don't want people to know that that's part of the agenda, that RFK's MAHA, Make America Healthy initiative, is a part of this agenda.
Well, and I don't even think like Trump's or the Trump administration's corporate backers are really down with that either. It's kind of, it feels to me like it's kind of that one thing that is just hoping it's like forgotten about.
He's doing stuff regardless of what some of his donors or backers like, which means that he's trying to keep his promises to the American people, which is what he should be doing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing like the Fox News talk about it, and I'm not.
I've seen them cover a little bit, but yeah, they also have their own funders. Yeah.
Well, and also there's a balance of like, if you're more of like the libertarian mindset, it's like we don't want the government telling us what we can or can't do and what we can or can't sell to other people. But then there's the other end. It's like, well, if you're literally selling neurotoxins to people
and you're
to put on their skin or in their bodies, that's kind of like the equivalent of stabbing a dude. Or you know, like like, and we got to talk about it too, because like I'm not going to leave these distinctions up to some, you know, faceless bureaucrat in a basement somewhere or in a penthouse suite somewhere or whatever you want to call it. But like behind the scenes, I don't want to leave it up to them. We need to start talking about this.
Well, you're not allowed to put known poisons in food, so this is just more of that, I would think. You know, this is reasonable.
Yeah, and then there's the other end too. Like if you're coming up with like, you know, different compounds and other stuff, whether they be dyes or ways to make fuels more effective or other things like that, it is kind of unfeasible to say, oh no, we're going to regulate it so you can't come up with new stuff. There needs to be some type of avenue and affordance to be like, okay, well, maybe we can help you test this stuff, and then we can look at actually how the testing comes out instead of you lying to us, like Pfizer and Moderna and all these companies lying to us.
There's an idea.
But it's like, no, it's like, hey, we'll help you do this, but we need to know. And if it turns out that food coloring is actually causing somebody's left testicle to get to the size of their chin, we're not going to sell it. Instead of having to wait 20 years later to see all these like kids coming out all messed up because of it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so let's try
it's a balance.
This is a beautiful message here at the end of this speech. Balance, yes.
Optimization.
He's having so much fun with it. And Barron's just like, God, I can't.
Barron just doesn't want to be there the whole time.
Well, it's like, I think he's thinking about the fact that his father was almost assassinated and everything that they've gone through to get to this point. It's just like,
I think there's that, but I also think there's that that old teenager, young 20-year-old that just doesn't want to be there. As soon as he walked out, he's just kind of like, he's the awkward
kid. The tism and the awkwardness. Yeah.
That, and also he's tall and good looking, and everybody's looking at him, and he's just like, dude,
he's not used to the cameras being on him all the time.
Well, his mother did a really good job of keeping him out of the limelight,
protecting him from the.
Yeah, I'll really give Melania that. She did a great job of keeping him out of it.
Yeah. Trump's kids are actually really well put together, and you can't tell a lot about somebody by how they are. Yeah, as parents.
Well.
Or how their kids turned out.
I'll give that to Melania. I ain't giving that
has the heart, the grace, the thoughtfulness, that level of consideration. You know, they did something right somewhere. Okay, so going on.
Nation. And right now our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation.
No.
Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness.
Hostile
they crossed deserts,
wilderness.
Scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny.
Yeah.
lifted billions from poverty.
Truth. There was a goal to decrease poverty that was enacted with like I think a 15 or 20 year time scale, and we achieved it in like half the time. Jordan Peterson speaks on this. We lifted half the world out of poverty.
Oh yeah,
since
no,
2000.
And that's a direct result of capitalism. Like really,
free markets.
Like well, because like so, capitalism does cause its problems, particularly with the robber barons.
Well, when it goes crony, yeah.
But capitalism is the only system to actually get the majority of people on the planet, and not just a small majority, but the vast majority of people on the planet out of abject poverty, and it creates the most millionaires and billionaires out of any system.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, that doesn't mean capitalism doesn't have things that should just be justly be criticized for, so we can fix it.
Yeah.
You know, like cronyism and
You know, it's like our forefathers stated that we need a well-educated, critical thinking, virtuous citizenry to be able to uphold the values, the standards of this nation. And as we become more materialistic or greedy, selfish, self-interested, and divided, these things fall apart. And
I would say also comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Because like our biggest problem here in the West, and even though like the West is the best civilization the world's ever come up with, as far as history can tell us, we've gotten too comfortable to the point where we stopped paying attention.
That's right.
You know,
yeah, because we're supposed to watch our representatives like hawks also. That's another charge from our forefathers.
We're not just stewards of the world, like what the Bible says, like the Adam and Eve story, being stewards of the world and identify. We're also stewards of ourselves and our own future as well. Yeah. And stewards of the past by curating and taking care of the information from the past. So it's action all the way through, past, present, future. And if you slack up on any of it, you end up in our situation.
Yeah.
Or
where
worse,
your
if you
system
didn't have
becomes
capitalism.
corrupted. Yeah. And greedy people take hold of the free market system and bend it towards their will. And that's what we've seen as corporatists who no longer care about the values this country was founded on, utilizing their vast wealth to influence, to control whole governments around the world, including our own, our Congress, our judiciary,
but
our executives.
Carl Schwab is a saint.
Yeah, right. Right. So there's just a little bit more here, guys. So we'll let this finish up. Okay. Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
Right on. Copy that. So let's jump on over here, guys. Here we go. Continuing.
Harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do. And
that's really cool there. Think of that.
Split the atom.
Think of what we've done.
The Wild West ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand.
This is what free association and the cultural melting pot can create.
If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken. I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do. In America, the impossible is what we do best.
Yes.
Yeah. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God.
One people, one family.
So to
Hold on,
every
pause it real
parent
quick.
who dreams
I want to bring this up. This is something that really stuck out to me, though, when he said, you know, they said it's impossible, but in America, the best, I'm paraphrasing, but the best thing we do, like, we are the best at doing what's impossible, or like, what is impossible is what, the impossible is what we do best.
Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah.
We created the rockets to send people to the moon. Flight was born in America. They said it was impossible. We did it here. We cracked the atom here. We created the least racist system on the planet that was thought impossible here.
That's right.
We created, well, started out being the most, like, I believe the highest level of literacy was originally in America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And actually, if you want to look at literacy, like explosive literacy rates, black population coming from, you know, slavery, they had the quickest going from not being literate to most people being literate in the history of mankind.
Yep.
So we've had these, America does the impossible.
Oh, the abolitionist
we do.
movement to outlaw slavery began in the U.S. and
Well,
spread to
to
England and other countries.
Well, and we sent Marines to quell some quell some slavery and some slave ships from happening too.
And the reason we're number one, it's not because this is some special sacred land that makes people better. It's because we are a melting pot.
Well, but we're a melting pot that has a creed that
Sure, we have a value system
that melts down all other creeds,
right.
And because like there's
we have a transcendent goal together here.
Yes, that we shouldn't
to
forget,
realize a more perfect union.
Because there are some things that are too stubborn that won't get melted down in the melting pot, and that's up to us to get rid of that. Like racism, like fascism and communism are things that are not melting in with the fondue of our melting pot.
A more perfect
and now we need
union
to pull the slag out.
Means that we're always going to be perfecting this project. There is no utopia that we're going to get to ultimately. We're just going to get better and better and better at working together. If we're trying to create a utopia, we're going to be making all kinds of exceptions to do some horrifying things in order to achieve the ends that we think we want to see. By any means necessary. People have tried this over and again throughout history, and every time millions of people die. So we're not perfect, but we are doing better than the rest of the planet and have been for a long time because we invited people of all different religions and nationalities to come here together to create something that the world had never seen before, where with free market capitalism, albeit not a perfect system, but the best that humans have come up with yet, allowed everybody to have equal access to the marketplace. Everybody was actually able to climb the ladder.
Well, and interestingly enough,
that never happened before in history.
It opened up marketplaces that didn't exist. Like if you want to look into, say, like, you know, like Africa and the Middle East and other places, well, capitalism created the devices that can suck water out of the ground that was never able to happen before. And now tribes, like, you know, they got on Mr. Beast because he was putting in wells in the middle of, you know, the deserts in Africa and stuff like that. It's like, well, capitalism did that. And also charity. Charity is a very Christian thing, but also capitalistic charity, particularly Western capitalistic charity. And
what do you mean by that?
So when we went through the Great Depression, it was the churches and it was the corporations that were feeding the people.
Oh.
It wasn't the government.
So these were ethical, morally bound corporate
Well, yeah, your
entities
robber barons, were screwing people over, but they were also making sure the bread line had hearty soup and bread.
Interesting.
Yeah, and working with the churches. So I believe more in charity than I believe in government subsidy or welfare.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
then you just create dependent people. Instead of teaching people how to fish, you're just giving them fish. So they don't become self-sufficient.
Oh, you're not even giving them fish. You're cooking it down into a uniform slop and just serving it out to everybody.
Mixed with microplastics.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
And all kinds of harsh chemical preservatives.
Yeah,
right.
All right, let's get back to this.
Yeah, finishing out here.
And one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We're going to win like never before.
He loves it.
Like never before. I hope that's the case, man, but we'll see, dude. I'm watching you. I'm watching you like
Trump's
a hot probe.
exaggerations are pretty classic. They're funny. His way of speaking.
Now you got to sell it, right?
Yep.
It's going to be the best ever.
Well, at least that's what we're going to be hopefully going for.
In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before.
Greater than ever before, I
We
prefer.
will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable.
Wow, that's interesting what he says right there.
Our power will be other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism.
I like that. Compassion, courage, exceptionalism.
Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable.
That's incredible. That's an incredible thing to say. That we're
Angry,
going to try and stop
violent, and totally unpredictable.
Which is incredibly dangerous considering the levels of technology we now have access to, the weapons that we have, the AI that is coming up.
Well, have we not seen that, like, at least on the, angry and violent end, with the, the BLM, Antifa, and, even on the right, like, the right has gotten very angry as well. And there have been a lot of, say, well-meaning, but too angry personalities that have been, is it chundled the word? Churned under. And the world is, I will have to say, is becoming angrier and more chaotic. Now, comparatively, we're not World War II level, but like from at least my perspective, I'm just being honest about it, for the length of time of being alive, I've never seen anything like this where we're at right now. And I feel like the World War III, that if we break out into this World War III, is going to make World War I and World War II look like some like kiddie cup practice match.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
It's going to be on every single level of humanity. Like, we already have like, the cyber manipulation now of information.
Or you could argue that we're already in World War III and it's an information war currently.
In that case, yes, I fully agree. We're already
massive
World War III.
Psychological warfare ongoing.
Well, but then our weapons technology right now, if you just look at what's accessible to American civilians, in some cases, that shit's scary enough, as far as like, well, the drones that we're able to have, and then certain rounds of munitions, and actually, if you take some dimes and you wrap them up in a shotgun shell, what that can do, and other stuff like that.
And not even to mention what can happen with biological warfare in the very near future.
And not even
with
trying
AI.
To think. Well, look at COVID. I don't think they were studying COVID in the Wuhan lab just to be like, oh, well, there's, we have these viruses that happen. No, they were trying to create another weapon. And they messed up, and they got really.
Yeah.
Well, Fort Detrick did the same thing. They try to hide it, but Fort
try
Detrick,
to pretend that we don't do this,
which
but
is
we
right over there in Maryland, does the same freaking thing. Like, and it's like, yeah, we're and as we should be, constantly on the edge of extinction for our species, because all species throughout all periods of time are always constantly on the edge.
Yeah,
but we don't have lions and tigers and bears, to push us, so it's us, which is terrifying, but then freeing in the end. It's like, well, then it's us and we can work on it. And when Trump is talking about it, and I'm not talking about it because Trump's talking about it, Trump's talking about it because we talk about it, but when Trump's talking about this great new future and moving out like we did in the West, young sun go west, going out to Mars and going out, we need this as a species.
Humans need this, yes,
because there's nowhere left on the planet to move out into.
No.
And actually, for the most part, there was nowhere for humans on the planet to move out to that weren't just conquering other people.
Right.
That's the other thing. It's like, oh, feel bad for the Native Americans and feel bad for the Africans and feel bad for the Europeaners and feel bad for everybody. It's like, nah, like humans conquer. Best thing we can do is go to planets that don't have sophisticated life and go conquer that.
If you want to feel bad about it, just feel bad that this has been a human issue since time immemorial.
Yeah, which
every single culture in human history has enslaved its own people and its neighbors and everyone around it as much as they possibly could. Sadly, it's a human history problem. Yeah, I love Ninja Bat's point here. Trump has already withdrawn from the WHO, and the WEF is panicking.
Yep. Yeah, because the WHO wants to have control over you. So if they think that there's another pandemic happening, that they can tell you as a sovereign nation what you should have to do, and you should shut down the people. And it's like, that's fascism. It's global fascism. It's worse than fascism.
Yep. So I think Trump has a few more words here before we wind down. So
let's hear him
let this
out.
go. Yeah.
America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before.
Like never before.
We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken. And we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly. We will dream boldly. And nothing will stand in our way, because we are Americans. The future is ours. And our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all.
Yeah. And we're all a bunch of honorary Americans, so
and
we don't care about what your color are, we don't care about what you worship, and we don't care. You're an American, you're honorary. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's love one another. Let's work together. Let's do what we can do when we actually combine our powers and cease to be so easily manipulated by this ongoing divide and conquer methodology. It hit us hard during COVID. It's really ramped up. Social media hasn't helped. Legacy corporate media has not helped, but we, the people, have seen through it once again. We are seeing through it. Thank you to all of you that voted for this unity coalition, and even those of you with whom we may disagree. And also, we love you guys too. Disagreement is healthy. Let's just not let it turn to extremism.
And
excuses
also
for violence.
For those of you who didn't vote for this and actually truly felt like this was the wrong thing, thanks for doing what you do too, as well. Like, I may disagree, and I may think you're foolish, but if for the people who don't just turn over because of the blowing of the winds, there always needs to be a stop to fulcrum off of as well. So thank you too as well. Yeah. Let's continue to engage in good faith dialogue. But don't be so scared, my super Democrat brothers and sisters, that you're all going to be rounded up and profiled by the FBI and all that stuff. The conservatives and the Republicans already dealt with that, and they came out fine. So you'll be fine if it happened, and it won't happen. Yeah, I seriously doubt that the Trump administration is going to be locking up and putting people away that disagree with them. No, they're going to lock you up and put you away. They're not going to be outlawing, putting a federal law against abortion or anything like that. It's now in the states. A lot of people don't like that. That's something that Democrats and Republicans both used to argue for, but once it was happening because of Trump, people hated it. Vote with your feet and vote with your dollar. And if you want abortion at any stage or whatever, find the place that's right for you and go there. Yeah. Ninja Bet said federal workers are not forced to go back into their offices. Yep. Yeah, that's right. People are going to be held accountable. You're going to have to do your jobs again. And we should get rid of y'all's unions, because the idea of a union for federal workers really rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, I think your vote is actually, you already have a vote in this Democratic Republic. The union's supposed to protect you from this authoritarian business that is trying to run you. But the thing is the government, you work for me. I don't want anything in between me and you. When it comes to being like, you're not doing your job. You're supposed to be making $75,000 to $150,000 by actually being where you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to be. And I know a lot of people that work for the government. Your jobs ain't that freaking hard. They're hard, mind you. They have their stresses, but they ain't working on the oil rig hard. They ain't working 3 consecutive 16-hour shifts with no sleep hard. Obviously, because they're all at home on their keyboards and they're pissed off. Better than most people, and you have better
awesome
healthcare, better,
actual vacation time.
Yeah.
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 Well,
I like collective bargaining. I don't like unions. I'm weird like that.
Well, it's, modern unions have been so corrupted themselves.
Precisely.
So, that's a whole other subject. But thank you guys so much for tuning in once again to this episode of Actuali podcast and our weekly live stream series, Meaning Making 101, where we try to take these things apart and figure them out together. And thank you, Ninja Bat, for taking part. And
yes, I will talk to you
guys soon, or next time.
Just call me, man. You got my number. But your thumb's broken.
But thank you guys. Make sure that you give a like and subscribe to Devery Darkins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like what's happening here, smash that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Thank you so much for all of you who comment on these videos. That helps the algorithm more than anything. Get out there, share with your family and friends. Let's have these hard conversations. Let's figure these things out together. Let's change this world from the inside out by becoming better people and realizing that highest potential that we all have within us.
Mm-hmm.
I've been Chris.
I've been DJ.
And we'll see you next time.
And we're going to do a little dance.
Oh, yeah, let's do a little dance, man. Say it. Oh, yeah.
Meow.